See you later on.
And it's 17 minutes past 6. Now, Prince Philip had a particularly close association with Scotland, dating back to his school days in the 1930s.
He and the Queen have enjoyed holidays with family in Balmoral every autumn for many decades. Glenn Campbell has the report.
Right, time for some sport now. And the world of sport is, of course, acknowledging the death of Duke of Edinburgh passing. We'd love to hear from you at BBC Breakfast to get in touch with us. Perhaps you or a child, grandchild has been involved in the Duke of Edinburgh Award scheme as well. Let us know the impact that had on their lives and how it inspired them. That would be good to hear.
It's the time now, 6:27. So leaders from around the world, both past and present, have been paying heartfelt tribute to the Duke of Edinburgh, praising his life of duty and devotion to the Queen.
And those offering their condolences, including the King and Queen of Spain, the US President Joe Biden, who said that the Duke's legacy will live on through all the charitable endeavours he shaped. James Reynolds reports. Reflections on the life of the Duke of Edinburgh. And we'll continue with those this morning. And thank you for getting in touch as well with your own experiences and encounters with him at BBC Breakfast for any more of those.
Saturday morning, 6:43. Thomas, a lot of people are looking ahead to the weekend and hoping they can get outdoors and do some stuff. How's it looking? Paint us a picture. Thomas, thanks very much. See you later on.
Now, last November, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh celebrated 73 years of marriage.
And over the years, they've both reflected on their unique partnership, which was one of the enduring devotions and support. Edinburgh Castle will be one of the landmarks across the UK that will hold a 41-gun salute to honour Prince Philip later today.
The Duke had a long and close association with Scotland, beginning with his years at Gordonston School.
Let's get a little more now from our Scotland correspondent, Alexander. Let's see, time now is 7:15, Saturday morning. Thomas has got the weather for us. And yes, it's interesting, isn't it, Thomas? We're going into that next stage in some of the restrictions lifting. Different parts of the UK in different areas, but maybe people are hoping they'll be outdoors, socialising a bit more. How's it looking for us? All right, see you later on.
And we're reflecting on the Duke of Edinburgh's personality and his different roles in public life during his time in service. And we know that the Duke's ability to talk to people from all walks of life more than often left quite a lasting impression on those he met.
Everyone who came across him has a story to tell, and John Maguire has been speaking to people about their memories.
Just looking back as well to the crowds that an event like that would attract back in the 1970s, extraordinary moments.
We're going to think a little bit about sporting connections now. Abby, yeah, as Mike was saying, Duke of Edinburgh Award, many people consider it to be one of the Prince's greatest achievements. It's helped enrich the lives of millions of young people right back from 1956.
And the five-time Paralympic champion Hannah Cockcroft completed her Bronze Award while she was at school and had the opportunity to meet the Duke on a number of occasions. And Hannah joined us that Bronze Award. And I know one of the reasons you didn't progress to the other awards is because your racing career inevitably took over. But what did it involve and what did you learn from it? Reflections on the Duke's connections with Scotland.
So, 7:44 Saturday morning, of course, how's the weather looking? Thomas is the man with the details this morning.
Now, last November, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh celebrated 73 years of marriage.
And over the years, they have both reflected on their unique partnership, which was one of enduring devotion and support. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Rachel Burden and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Well, we're joined now outside Windsor Castle by our royal correspondent and Cobbles, but we heard you loud and clear, Sarah. And just give us a sense of behind the scenes, if you can, of just how events unfolded yesterday and how the nation learnt the news about what had happened. Well, Edinburgh Castle will be one of the landmarks across the UK that will hold a 41-gun salute to honour Prince Philip later today. The Duke had a long and close association with Scotland, beginning with his years at Gordonston School. We're joined now by our Scotland correspondent. It was said that he actually wanted to join the Air Force, but he must have had the sea life in his blood somewhere for his career in the Navy to be so prestigious. Really, a very sort of successful but truncated career in the Navy. How much do you think he regretted the fact that he had to give up that part of his life?
Well, again, the sense I'm getting is that Those of you who have served either alongside him or those in the same services see something in his training or whatever that corresponds with his personality. And I'm going to use the word blunt here because everyone who's talked about him, he says he has that ability to be quite blunt, to say things when he wanted to say them. And sometimes, as we know, that endeared him to people, and other times, it caused headlines. That's something you recognised in his character.
Yeah.
And thank you for being with us here for BBC Breakfast this morning. We are reflecting on the life of the Duke of Edinburgh. And as part of that, hearing from leaders from around the world, both past and present, who've been paying heartfelt tributes to the Duke, praising his life of duty and devotion to the Queen.
Those offering their condolences included the King and Queen of Spain, US President Joe Biden, who said the Duke's legacy will live on through all the charitable endeavours he shaped. James Reynolds has this report. Well, let's have a little more of a look around the world and see how the reaction has been. We will be speaking to
Australia. Let's go to India and speak to our correspondent, Yogita Lamel. More to come, of course, with your own reflections of your encounters with the Duke of Edinburgh and the impact that, in particular, the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme had on your life and the lives of your children and grandchildren, perhaps, as well. That's coming up a bit later on in the programme.
Just coming up to 8:45 on Saturday morning. Not sure what your plans are for the weekend, but Thomas can tell you how the weather is going to be.
Now, as we continue to reflect on the life of the Duke of Edinburgh, alongside his many other charitable interests, Prince Philip will be remembered as one of the first people, actually, in the public eye to champion the cause of conservation.
For nearly 20 years, the Duke was president of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, also known then as the WWF, as our Science and Environment editor David Shukman reports.
Well, joining us now is Tanya Steele, who is
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Rachel Burden and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Edinburgh Castle will be one of the landmarks across the UK that will hold a 41-gun salute to honour Prince Philip later today. The Duke had association with Scotland, beginning with his years at Gordonston School. And we're joined by our Scotland correspondent. Well, this morning we are looking at many different aspects of the life of the Duke of Edinburgh. And one thing he's been praised for is his sense of duty and service, and also for being the longest-serving royal consort in British history at the Queen's side for more than 70 years. Well, we're going to speak to one person who knew the Duke well over the years. That's the adventurer, Sir David Hempelman. Did he want to know? Because he was very interested, very often, wasn't he, in the sort of technical aspect of expeditions and the science around them. And to deal with those public situations. I don't think any of us can really imagine what it's like with that as our primary role, to just go out and meet people and talk to them and try and put them at ease when you might be feeling at your most kind of nervous and apprehensive.
Now, I can't claim any connections like you have with the Duke of Edinburgh, but I did once do one of those events you were alluding to earlier, Buckingham Palace and the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme, one of these fantastic young people, there's thousands of them. It was boiling hot. We all went out in the garden, the Buckingham Palace garden, but before the event, you're inside. And there's this frisson of excitement when the Duke of Edinburgh, you'll know this, won't you? And he's introduced to the presenters. I was one of those. And the person who was with him said, this is Charlie State, the presenter of BBC Breakfast. And he looks at you very intently. Well, I don't know that. I'm not going to claim that one. But he has a twinkle in his eye and he's thinking, what's he going to say next? And he said, what time do you have to get up? Quite a good question. Get that question a lot. I said about 4 a.m. And he thought again, and he's looking straight at me, and he said, well, what do you want to do that for? And
sometimes it's a direct question.
A very direct question. And I stood there just kind of looking at him for a bit, and then he moved down the line. And I realised, what you realise, and you'll know this very well, Giles, is often you'll see that sort of ripple as he goes down the line chatting with people, and they're left, either laughing or just kind of slightly surprised. Let's see, time now is 9:31. Of the many considerable achievements over Prince Philip's career and time, one of the most internationally commended was, of course, the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme. We've been talking about that quite a bit this morning.
Yeah, we have, designed as a programme of activities for young people to build confidence and hone life skills. When we spoke to Hannah Cockcroft, Tanny, and she was saying, doing this award basically drove my career into racing and becoming this hugely successful Paralympian. And it is about all abilities, crossing all boundaries, isn't it?
It is.
And thank you
yeah.
to those who've been in touch this morning to talk about the long-term impact the award has had on their lives. Barbara says, I completed my gold Duke of Edinburgh Award 1974. It inspired my life in many ways, introducing me to camping and hiking in the mountains, which I continued all through my lifetime. Also helped me to get a job, as employers looked on it almost like a qualification, as it proved you had determination of character to complete. At 64, it is still one of my proudest achievements.
There we go. Let's bring it right up to date now. Teenagers in the UK right now are taking part. Hibba and Anam, let's say...
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
let's see, 9:44 is the time, whatever your plans for the weekend. Thomas got the detail of the weather for you. Thank you very much.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Breakfast is back tomorrow. I'll be here from 6 o'clock.
BBC News coverage of the death of Prince Philip will continue here on BBC One. It's worth telling you that regular programming carries on BBC Two.
But before we go, we'll just take one more look back on the remarkable life of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. From all of us, goodbye.